This is what you would call my area right here. And then Adam, that's his area.
James Bauman is one of nearly 100 people who call the Lompoc Riverbed home. Each of them has a story of how they ended up here. For some, it was voluntary, an escape from the fast pace of everyday life.
We don't have drama and all the other stuff that you might get in town or in the neighborhood.
There's a lot of stress, living, in society. Driving cars, you kind of need a car, the hustle and bustle, movement, and things are a little slower.
But for others, it's the only option they have. Jeremiah Gordon moved here with his 2 teenage sons after he lost his job.
I like the freedom out here, and I don't like having a bunch of people around me. I like that. I don't like the drug activity down here, that's for sure.
Gordon says living in the riverbed can be hard on his sons because they don't want their friends to know where they sleep at night.
So sometimes if we're walking and they see their friends, they'll take off and leave me right there and go hide.
Aside from the judgment of teenagers, there are some real dangers when it comes to setting up homeless camps in the riverbed. One man was killed in November of 2017 after he got involved in a lover's triangle with other people staying there.
You always have to worry of somebody, maybe whatever direction, coming into somebody's camp when nobody's around and stealing.
You got to be tough to live down here, that's for sure. You can't. There's people out here that are crazy when they're on drugs, and they'll go right to your front door, they'll go right to your tent. You either stand your ground or die, I guess.
Corporal Brian Guerra from the Lompoc Police Department spends a lot of his time talking with those in the riverbed, trying to prevent some of the crime. But many times people reject his help, and many crimes are left unreported.
Yeah, a lot of people wouldn't take the help, unfortunately, if it was provided to, get them up on their feet and get working and, get to where they could, sustain their own living in the city. A lot of them are happy just to stay out here and be left alone.
Shondell Malcolm works with a group called Planting a Seed. He often finds people who don't want help, but still, his organization works to get homeless people connected with the resources they need.
One of the things that we do that may seem to be enabling, as we talked about before, was that each person experiencing homelessness costs the community about $46,000 in emergency services. And so sometimes we come down here and we try to provide a tarp or some blankets, jackets, food, something to that effect, so that it helps to keep them dry and healthy, and they don't use the emergency services as much.
The days of people living in the riverbed could be coming to an end, however.
There's little to no law enforcement going on in the riverbed, and virtually it's kind of the Wild West.
Lompoc's Police Chief Pat Walsh spoke to the City Council earlier this month, offering 3 options for cleaning up the riverbed.
Here's what I not in any particular order, the options I think. Option 1 would be to do nothing, and I don't think it's going to get better. Option 2 would be remove all persons from the riverbed and remove all the debris from the riverbed, and then support police officers patrolling the riverbed daily and continuously so that they don't go back and camp in the riverbed. And then option 3 would be to remove all persons from the riverbed and leave the debris.
Talk of removing those who live in the riverbed is great news for people like Lenore Kaiser. She sees people walking through her neighborhood to get to the riverbed, and it's left her living in fear.
And they're looking right smack in my house and every place else, and I am concerned about the safety because I still am raising a great-grandchild. And I am concerned about that.
Kaiser is now considering a home security system to help her feel more at ease.
Yes, I pulled my blinds really tight and keep the lights on low so it doesn't look like, a fishbowl sitting there.
Some community advocates say making everyone leave the riverbed could create even more problems. Many of the local shelters and low-income housing complexes are full, leaving nowhere for the homeless to go.
Moving the problem isn't the solution. Sometimes, they're all people, so that's who we're here to care after and hopefully get something going, because this isn't helping our community at all.
This barrel, I got stuff I can set up, a shower.
While more planning and action by the police department and city council will happen before anyone is moved out, people we spoke with now living in the riverbed are hoping for a little compassion.
Balance would be nice, to be able to sit down and talk with some of the community people and let them know, you know, that we're fine and it's okay.
And it could happen to anybody. You could be the richest person. Blink of an eye, dude, you're down here.